We go a little bit long this week, but I assure you, it's worth it to stick it out till the end. After a brief intro discussion about that Cyberpunk 2077 game, and, well, dicks, we launch into stories about people at work who hate us. I mean, really hate us. It's funnier than you'd think. But then things take a turn, and before you know it, we are going deep on forgiveness. Seriously, it's a good one.
Welcome to Pitney and Amelia's Bitchin' Boutique!
We may be awful,
But we're right!
excited about finally the Cyberpunk update came out, so I can finally play it.
Oh my god.
Because I've been waiting. I created my character, and I've just been waiting to play it until the update came out, because as we've talked before, I'm not one of those assholes that's going to demand a refund just so I can rebuy it.
Oh, right. Oh,
so
yeah.
So I've waited. I downloaded, it was like 16.8 gigs, I think.
Okay.
So it was like a big fucking thing to download, and I know they're supposed to have another one later that's supposed to improve it more, but
it's playable now.
17 gigabytes worth of shit, better make it playable. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna play it.
Oh my god.
Now.
So I guess I should mention, if someone's listening and thinking, I don't remember them talking about that Cyberpunk game, it's because you didn't watch our New Year's Eve live stream, which you can go watch on YouTube or Facebook Live.
Oh, that's right. We talked about it on that. I was thinking we talked about it on
We talked about it on New Year's
right.
Eve,
it's
so
on that.
That's, it's just I might as well mention that for those of you who don't know what we're talking about. So you mentioned that night that you can get very specific on creating your character. So I must ask, since you said you created your character, how's his dick?
Oh yeah, of course I did the. Of course I did the circumcised.
Of course you did.
And I did the normal pubic hair.
Okay. Do you have to say how many inches long you want it to be? Is it?
If I remember right, I think there is, and I think if I remember right, I think I did the circumcised mid.
Mid. Okay, well, mid's reasonable. That is a completely reasonable sized penis.
But yeah, I did the normal pubic hair, because apparently there is, I know there was either none or normal.
Okay.
And there may have been something in between as far as that goes, but I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, okay.
But I am so, there was nothing worse than, when you get a guy home and you're wanting to get to the dick, and then you undress him and he has shaved fucking pubes.
Oh my, I don't want them to be 10 years old. I want them to be grown.
I know, and it's just yeah, I'm sorry, but no, but, invariably there's stubble.
Of course there is.
And it's that so turns me off. A little bit trimmed, okay.
Trimmed is perfect. Yeah.
But shaved, no. But no, there's a big thing, because I have, I used to spend a lot of time on porno Tumblr.
Oh,
right.
Of course. I miss porno Tumblr.
And a lot of porno Tumblr was self pics.
Of course. Amateur.
And of course, what I would gravitate towards would be the college guys, whatever. I know, call me an old troll,
Twinkie
but whatever.
college guys. Yeah.
That's what I want to look at.
Mm-hmm.
So, invariably, I would say 75% of them totally shaved pubes.
Women are the same way. It's like the last few generations, they all just think pubic hair is disgusting, and it's it's called a secondary sex characteristic, and you're supposed to have it. You know.
Yeah, and it was like, I'm so not into the shave.
I mean, like,
but anyway.
I don't want to, like, need a machete to get in there. I don't need to bring my own comb and have to part it and, like, part the Red Sea to get at it. I just, but there should be some hair down there. Because you're a grown-up.
Yeah, but there's like... Yeah, there's a happy medium between, like, the modern everything is shaved and the 70s
nothing is
bush.
Well, the halfway down the thigh pubic hair, like the complete, yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, we know. Yeah. And I always question what the hell is going on in the people who want the hairless, who want the completely hairless. I don't understand. I think there's something very pervy about that. And that's not kink shaming. That's no, you're disgusting. Because you want a child, apparently. Bald like a child is so gross.
Yeah, and I don't know, and I don't understand. Like the college guys that all like shave it off. I
think they think their dicks look bigger
because they don't like to bathe, or is because it makes their dicks.
But
look
so
bigger,
does trimming. See, it's like you have to have something to compare, like banana for scale or whatever. Like you need to have something for the dick to come out of, or else I don't know why it looks bigger. It looks bigger trimmed because ratio of hair to dick. I mean, that's just science.
So, and I don't know, and unless you're like a really, really big, like, cokehead club whore, there ain't not going to be that many girls that are going to be seeing that dick anyway. So, like, why are you so worried about it?
God.
Really, realistically, come on.
I can honestly say that of all of them that I have encountered in my time, I don't think there may have been some trimmers in there, but I don't think any of them particularly were groomed. Because I think, part of that was I think it was maybe long enough ago that guys weren't into that yet.
Oh, yeah, because we were out of the game before this became a thing.
Yeah. And by the time this became a thing, we would have to be doing guys that were so young that they would have been in on it, as opposed to people our age that would have been like, no, fuck those people.
Yeah. And all right for looking at them, but as far as, like, actually, like, seeing it in real life, come on, no. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, no.
Unless you want to pay money for it, and I ain't going to pay money for that shit.
Oh, hell no. Dicks are free, man. You should never have to pay for dick. You can see a dick anytime you want.
Yeah, and I'm not one of those old trolls that's so important that I'm going to be paying to get that young stuff, because I just don't care. Ugh. Anyway.
So, no. But in a video game, you can see lots of dick, I guess, in that.
Oh, yeah.
I guess you'll find out when you start playing.
Oh, yeah, in a video game, I can have, young 23-year-old Eric the Slayer running around as my lover.
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's awesome.
But we've talked about that before.
Yes, of course.
How, I don't need a real life lover because Eric the Slayer from Skyrim is my soulmate.
Of course.
The Bitchin' Boutique.
Yes.
I think we need to give them a thing, Spike. We can give them a drop that they could plan out their
Yes,
show.
I think we've got to find some time and get time to do that.
Right now. I think we should do it right now. Look, I'll show you how easy it is, Spike. Watch this. I'm just going to do it live.
Okay, do it live.
Like that bloke screams. I'm just going to do it live. Watch this. Hi, this is Dr. Dan from the Two Skeptical... I can't do it now. Look, I can't speak. Too much pressure. I'll try again. Take 52. Hi, this is Dr. Dan from the Two Skeptical Chaps podcast, and you are listening to the most bitchin' boutique. See? That was easy, wasn't it?
Okay.
They could send us one, we could play it as.
Yeah.
Right, you do it.
Yeah.
Right,
What do you want me to say?
Whatever comes to mind.
Hi, this is Spike from the Two Skeptical Chaps podcast, who ain't no bitch, but you're listening to the Bitchin' Boutique.
Oh, that was good. I hope they use that. Let's see if they cut it and put it in their next show.
Diplomatic community.
Did I ever tell you about the bitch department manager at work who hated me? And it was all because of the rubber chicken incident.
I don't think so. I honestly don't remember.
So here's the thing. So, I mean, basically, the underlying thing in this story is that this woman was a department manager. She was a big shot who, because of her position, she had power over me, and she had, hiring authority. Like if I say was applying for a temporary promotion or a particular position that I wanted within the department, she, for a long time, had the power to make the decision who got that job. And I would always be on the short list, for the job that I want, and I would never get it.
Oh.
Until miraculously she left our department, and the second she left our department, I got that job. Because I fucking deserved that job. Because she fucking hated me.
You know why? Because your milkshake was better than hers.
Well, that goes without saying. But here's why she hated me. This is why she hated me. So I'll back up. So I mean, without going too much into just the general thing of the way the office works. So we had day shift and night shift. She was the department manager over night shift at that time. I was a day shift person. I was in a position at that time where I sort of, even though I was primarily day shift, I went to night shift a lot to lead meetings down there because my job, they needed someone to just handle things, and I got picked. It just was my job for a while to just coordinate and handle things and make sure that information was dispersed correctly, and but the thing was that because of that, I was having a lot of contact with night shift people. And one day, some night shift people were preparing for something, and I went in to check and make sure that everything was going okay. And they asked me, they started talking about the chicken. And I was like, I did not understand anything that they were saying. And so I made them explain. And they said, oh, well, it's this thing that QR, the quality review unit, it's this thing that QR does where every week when all the teams, their quality ratings for the team are all tallied up, the team with the lowest quality is awarded a rubber chicken that hangs outside the manager's office, and QR awards it. And I'm like, and they're like, you don't know about it? And I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I was so angry that was a thing, because I mean, it's not just because we have a union and there are rules, but I mean,
sorry, that's fucking tacky. I mean, I can see, like,
if you want to reward the best team,
rewarding the best, but not like
you suck,
making everybody know who the worst is.
Right.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Yeah, there is no reason to do that. That is some serious bullshit. And I have been, with the agency for a very long time. At that point, I guess it had been like 15 years I'd been with the agency, and people couldn't even, like, one time, some of us were just curious. Well, like, I know how well I do, but I'm curious how I do compared to other people. Like, if my documents per hour are this, can you tell me not who the fastest is and who the slowest is, but what their numbers are? Like, we would ask questions like that, and we would be told, legally, according to the contract, we cannot even give you that information. Like, and that's fair, So I've always believed that it's like, no, that's utterly against all rules to do anything remotely like rewarding a team with a rubber chicken.
Oh, I think that's awful. Yeah.
And apparently they would make a big deal out of it. Like when the rubber chicken would move from one team to another, it would be like the manager from the team that was releasing it would be like a big dramatic the delivery of the chicken to the other manager, like, you suck more than me now, or whatever. And I was so fucking disgusted.
Oh, I think that's awful.
So I go back to my regular job on Monday, and because they had said that the quality review team was the one doing it, I went over and talked to, because the quality review team was a day shift team. At that time, we only had one, and night shift didn't have one, because it's hard to explain. Anyway, but so I talked to one of the guys who ran that team, and I said, what do you know about this chicken? And he didn't know what I was talking about. So I told him what they told me, and he was furious. Not just that it was happening, but that everyone believed that they were doing it, that it was like he did it. And he was like, absolutely not. There's no fucking way. So it just happened that he like is walking back to my desk with me, and it just happened. I hadn't even noticed that the manager's office that was right next to where my desk was had the chicken hanging outside their door.
Oh.
And he saw it, and he got so mad that he just walked over there and ripped it down and threw it in the trash.
Good, because it's horrible.
Right. And because I was in this sort of position where I don't belong to either shift, because I was in this special weird position, and I had to answer directly to department managers because I didn't really have a manager because of the way my job was. I was like, okay, you know what? That chicken, like, someone bought that chicken. It's like, I guess the chicken should be returned to whoever started it, So I rescued it from the trash and put it in my desk. That's an important point. So
Okay.
A couple days later, I get called into, like, the woman who's over the department managers, her office.
Okay.
And she's asking me for, like, she wants to hear my side of the story. What happened to the chicken?
Oh my God. Okay.
And she kept telling me that I apparently was overstepping the bounds of my position. And I'm like, I didn't do it as the blank, whatever, the made up name of what my job was.
Yeah.
I said, I didn't do it as part of my job. I did it. I said, first of all, I talked to him about it as a fellow employee who has been an employee of this agency for a really long time, and we both know that was not a cool thing to do, and I wanted to make sure he wasn't responsible for it.
Yeah.
And it didn't get taken down because I overstepped my bounds. It was an employee to employee thing. And it was something that shouldn't have even been there to begin with. And I told her, I said, and frankly, I'm a little concerned that there is more, that, like, the chicken is somehow more important, or the chicken, or the right to insult employees and embarrass them is somehow more important than, like, that is a right that must exist, whereas my right to complain about it.
Yeah, that's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm a little surprised that this is the reaction to my finding out that this was happening and being tangentially a part of it stopping.
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, if someone wants it, it's in my desk drawer because I fished it out of the trash.
Yeah.
A little later, though, because this was, like I said, she was above the department managers. That night shift department manager comes up to me as I'm leaving. She came in on days, maybe because they knew that they had to talk to me, and she just comes in. And up to this moment, I had always thought that she and I had a great relationship. When I first moved to that department, she wasn't a department manager yet. She was my personal manager when I first moved there. And I thought she was great. I mean, she was not the nicest person in the world, but she got shit done, and she was a by-the-book person, and I always respond well to people. I like rules. If there's rules, I expect people to follow them, and she was the same way, so I responded well to her. But until this moment, we were good. And she comes up to me, fucking, the look on her stupid face. And she's like, I hear you have the chicken. That serious. She's that serious, saying those words.
Oh my God.
And I said, yeah, because I took it out of the trash. If you'd like, I can deliver it to your office, And she's just like, she doesn't want to hear about it. She doesn't want to hear my side. All she knows is someone has a problem with something that she apparently totally signed off on. Because if she's so worried about the chicken, that means she thinks that chicken shit is a great idea. Yeah. So I give her the fucking chicken back. She stomps off. And from that moment forward, she fucking hates me.
Oh, you should have slapped her and called her a cunt.
Well, you know what I did? Because I was hoping that would blow over. And as years went by, when I realized that she was the reason why I wasn't getting jobs, because she was picking people who were way, way, way less qualified than I was, for positions that I was right there up for, top of the list, and she didn't pick me. Because basically the way that thing works is once you make the short list, they can pick anyone they want. But I know me, and I know those people, and I know that I'm a million times more qualified than they are, and fuck those people, and, and I deserve the fucking job, and she wouldn't give it to me. But what was beautiful about those years is knowing that she hated me and knowing that there was nothing I can do about it. She was never going to like me ever again. And I figured someday it would end, and it did. She left, and suddenly I got all the jobs I wanted. But what I would do, because as a department manager, she could not be openly hostile to an employee in front of other employees. So, okay, I'm just gonna pretend her name was Jenny. It absolutely was not Jenny. But that's the first name that popped into my head. So let's say I'm walking down the hall and a bunch of other employees are there, and Jenny comes around the corner. Good morning, Jenny. Oh, I like your top. And she would just be like, good morning. She would have to fucking pretend that she didn't hate me. She would have to respond in kind to anything I said to her. Oh, good morning. Oh, hi, Jenny. Hi. I would do it every fucking time I saw her. And everyone, and sometimes people who knew me well, who knew that I didn't act like that normally, like I might say, oh, hey, good morning. But I made such a big deal when it was her that every once in a while someone would be like, what the hell's going on there? And I'm like, oh, she fucking hates me. She hates me.
Oh, see, that's fabulous.
And I really, really enjoyed doing that to her. It was fantastic. But what's really crazy is that one year, this was actually right after she left, but the woman who was in charge of over the whole department was the same one that had called me into her office that time. Like, she had left and been in charge of some other department, and then she came back. So that bitch, Janice came back. And apparently Janice was also on Team Chicken, because my manager, my unit manager at the time, goes to a meeting and comes back, and she's so mad she's slamming stuff down on her desk. And I'm like, what is happening? And she goes, you know what they just said? They're going to start a thing where each shift, they're going to award, quote, finger quotes, a rubber chicken to the team that has the lowest quality. And I was like, you are fucking kidding me. I said, because this was years later. This was many years later. And I said, they tried to pull that shit back in 2007. I said, are you fucking kidding me? She goes, who brought it up? Whose idea was it? And she was like, it's Janice. Janice did it. And I'm like, oh, fucking Janice. I said, I fucking knew she was in on it, but I couldn't prove it at the time. I thought she was just backing up Jenny. I almost said her real name. Yeah. But no, she must have been part of it. God damn it. And she goes, I refuse. I told them in the meeting, I am not participating in this because this is crap and this is not fair and this is against the contract.
Terrible.
It's like the worst possible thing. Because I was talking to her and we were totally copacetic on it. I was like, I mean, why don't they just hand out dunce caps? Why don't they just make us sit in the corner and have a timeout? Terrible. And treat us like fucking children. Well, this is complete. Why don't we have to go into the principal's office and get a paddling? I mean, it's so fucking stupid. But then, really the story should be over, but there's one other detail. I want to give credit to my friend Christina. She was a manager on night shift, and she remembered all of this shit. She always knew about all this crap. Mm-hmm. But that year, the year that it was brought back, apparently day shift was going to have a chicken. Night shift had a duck, not like a rubber duck like you'd have in the bathtub, but like a long duck, like a rubber chicken, like shaped like a rubber chicken.
Oh, okay.
And she. Oh,
I think I know. I think I've seen one. I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And so, like, it would hang from its feet. And yeah. Not only was she very vocally against it, and when night shift was told they were doing it, but her team was awarded it, and not only did she take the duck outside and run over it several times with her car, so that the thing was flattened and had tire marks all over it.
Fabulous.
And it was filthy. Not only did she do that, but months later, there was like a cake contest, like, oh, make a cake and decorate a cake or whatever, and then the upper management will go around and taste all the cakes and someone will win a prize or whatever, and like each team pick your best baker and they'll submit a cake for the contest. Well, her team submitted a cake that the top, it was like, like a big rectangular cake. The top of the cake was decorated with a big flattened it looked like the duck with tire marks on it.
Oh, how fabulous.
So not only did she run it over with her car, but the cake that they put in for the contest represented the duck that had been run over by a car.
Oh my God.
I just love that it was, thank God other people were finally standing up to this shit. But I mean, that was one of my favorite things ever. But it really does get to something in me that I have learned in recent years is a big deal with me is, if someone just doesn't like me, that's fucking fine. I mean, I am a hard pill to swallow sometimes, and I realize that I don't get along with everyone. But if you're gonna not like me, you better have a good reason.
Yeah.
Like, it really, in the case with her, it was just so funny. The whole thing was so funny and stupid that it didn't bother me that she didn't like me. Because I got a lot of joy out of tormenting her. But like in everyday life, if someone decides that they're pissed off at me or they don't like me, and it's for some bullshit reason, like it's for something that didn't actually happen, or they completely misinterpreted something, that, more than almost anything in the world, really bothers me.
Oh, yeah.
And it takes everything I have to not try to fix it. Because my instinct is, I need to try to fix it. But really, when it comes down to it, hey, if they don't like me, they don't like me.
Oh, I used to be like that, and I would try to fix situations. And, An asshole is going to be an asshole, a bitch is going to be a bitch, and it ain't worth it.
That's right. Some people are just cunts, and there's nothing you can do about it.
You know?
But there is something weird, like if there's someone who was your friend, or you thought they were your friend for a really long time, and then one day they just fucking turn on you, and you find out that the reason for it is because of a rubber chicken incident, or something equally that fucking stupid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I have somebody at work that doesn't like me, and there's no reason for it other than he is a homophobic prick.
Well, at least it's somewhat of a reason. I mean, yeah. Like, he wasn't gonna like you anyway, so there's nothing you can do. Yeah,
and he's one of these, like, I hate to bring this up, but I'm gonna bring it up because it's in context.
Okay.
He's African American.
Okay.
And he is, very angry and very rah, 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 rah. And he always has like these, Black Lives Matter and say the names and all these political statements on his masks.
Right.
And he's wearing always political stuff. He's wearing like political t-shirts underneath like a red shirt.
Right.
To work where we work, which is great. I'm totally down with that. I'm just saying this to describe the person.
Well, and there definitely is a lot of weird homophobia especially if it's a more, I'll just say a churchy black person, because there's so much homophobia in that.
Oh, this is him.
And it's weird that someone will be my oppression is terrible. Your oppression is imaginary. My oppression is real.
He's
like, no,
very much like that.
Yeah.
He's very angry and he's very prickly anyway.
Right.
And so I was like, well, does he just not like me, or because he's like really rude to everybody?
Well, that helps. It helps
and
a little
he
bit.
is not like manager, but he's like a team lead, which makes him think he's like big shit, which is nothing.
And as someone who's been a team lead, it's like,
he's
no,
somebody
that's not
that
really,
we need to go to. Like, if we can't find something in the store to be shipped,
he knows where everything is. Yeah.
He's one of the people that we have to go to be like, okay, I can't find this. You have to give me permission to say I can't find it. You need to tell me where it fucking is.
Like, he could look it up and say, yeah, we haven't gotten a shipment on that. That means there isn't any.
Oh, no, we can look up that. We don't even go to him unless we've looked everywhere. And it's basically, we can't fucking find this. Give us permission to say we can't find it, so we can move on.
That's weird, because that way, even if it literally does not exist in the building, he could just be an asshole and not give you permission.
Oh, and he is. Well, you need to look here.
Oh my God. You can't just pull it out of your ass.
He's a dick. He's a dick to everybody, right? Everybody is like, everybody hates going to him because he's an angry prick.
And they gave him some power. So, yeah.
And basically, no, this is seriously how he is. Oh, hey, how are you doing today? I'm doing terrible, thanks for asking.
Oh, Jesus.
He's that asshole.
Oh, he is a ray of fucking sunshine.
And one day, one shift when I got there at 4 a.m., we were all clocking in, and he was like the team lead.
Right.
Who was there to make sure that everybody, got there. And somebody else from my team was like, oh, hey, so-and-so, how's everything going? How's your life? I mean, that just is a casual...
Hey, how you doing? Yeah. Beautiful day outside.
Why do I have to answer that? That's a real personal question.
Oh, Jesus.
And I was like, you fucking dick. You fucking,
It's like, do like everyone else. Say, I'm fine, and move on. Just say fine, just lie.
Like, shut the fuck up, God. Go suck off your Spike Lee fuck doll, and shut the fuck up.
Oh my God.
So anyway, so this is this guy, right? And so a couple days ago, so we were going down an aisle. in the back room because I needed to get an item, and he was there with his little computer, like click, click, whatever the fuck he was doing.
Like some inventory thing or whatever. Yeah, okay.
And I was like in like this section next to him, right? And he was like, "What the hell, man? Back off! Back off! You need to give me my 6 feet!"
Jesus Christ.
And I just looked at him like, whatever.
It's not like you, and I'm assuming you maybe were 5 feet away, but not exactly 6 feet.
Yeah, and I did not even say a fucking word because he's a prick.
Yeah.
And I know that he's one of those, like, Christian black homophobes.
Right.
Right. So, about 45 minutes later, I'm in the back room, and he is like, blah, 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 with another team lead, because he's also an ass licker.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And they were, like, right there, and I was like, "So, nice job with your social distancing, Justin."
Oh, fuck.
And he just looked at me like he was just going to stab me in the parking lot.
Oh, my
God. And I did not say a fucking word.
Oh, my God.
And the person that he was talking to was just looking at me like, "What's going on?"
What did I do?
But I just walked away.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And then I didn't see him for the next day. But then I saw him yesterday.
Uh-huh.
And he said, "Oh, good morning," to me, like trying to be friendly. And I went,
You gave him the audible snub.
Because I'm sorry, that is homophobic fucking prick right there.
Oh my God. I could totally see that he probably loved social distancing rules going into place so that he would have something official like that to be able to say to someone like you that he was afraid you might come within 2 feet of him. And now he can be like, no, you back up. Because before then, that would have seemed rude. But now he has, like, there's rules you have to stand over there. I bet he was loving that.
Yes, and he's such a thoroughly fucking prick.
Oh my God. Oh God, I can just imagine.
He's so thoroughly. I mean, literally, I will say it again. You literally ask him how he is. "I'm terrible. Thank you for asking."
How old is this guy?
Fuck you, dude. I don't really give a fuck how you are, really.
Exactly. I'm not really asking.
I want to say he's
our age, maybe?
I want to say 28 to 32.
Oh, he's that young. Oh, good Lord.
28 to 32.
Oh, so he probably... Oh God, he probably thinks, has he ever said "okay, boomer" to you? Because he's probably young enough that he thinks everyone older than him is a baby boomer.
Oh yeah, but he's such a prick, and everybody is just like, "Oh my God, I can't find this," and I'm afraid to go ask him.
Oh my God.
Justin. I'm afraid to ask Justin about this because he's always such a dick to everybody, and I'm like, you know what? Just say you can't find it because they're not going to ask you about it anyway.
Right.
And just say you asked him.
Right. I'm assuming it's not like he has to type in a special code that only he knows or some bullshit.
But, he's such a fucking dick.
Oh my God. What an asshole.
Hates me. So, and I know, he's surly to everybody, but that incident, I know he dislikes me particularly.
Right.
Because I know him. He is a homophobic fucking dick.
Oh my God.
And it's so funny because there's this fabulous, fabulous queen that I work with who is not just a queen, but honest to goodness, fabulous fucking drag queen.
Oh, yay!
Like, no eyebrows, patent leather purse fucking drag queen that I work with, and I fucking love him.
Oh my God.
Love him.
Oh
And
God.
Like,
the fact that you said patent leather purse just made me so happy.
Yes, I love him, and I am just, He's just like, oh my God, I think Justin is so hot. I just want to be all up in that ass.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, are you serious? And she is like, oh yeah, I think he's so fucking hot. And I'm like, I wish you would just go make it so known how hot you think he is, because I would love to watch that motherfucker squirm.
Oh my God.
You know?
Oh my God. Oh my God.
The year of self-care.
Self-care is lame, you say. Self-care is buying expensive crap and taking bubble baths and doing yoga, and it's dumb. First of all, stop listening to Gwyneth Paltrow and her goopy friends. You're supposed to be listening to me, because I actually care about you, and you don't have to pay for what I'm peddling. Today I want to talk about why it's important to make yourself a priority, and what that even means. I probably should have done this the first week. I'm not going to stress about it. What's done is done. See what I did there? The reason why you can believe me when I tell you this stuff is if you're a regular listener, you know I've been through some crap. You can trust me on this. I've not only been there, but it wasn't even that long ago. The first thing I did when I walked away from an abusive relationship, apart from getting an Attagirl from my therapist, was to make an appointment with my doctor. I had been in such a depression for over a year that I had totally stopped taking care of myself. And in some ways, even when I was, quote, happy before that, I wasn't taking care of myself then either, because I was putting all my attention on everyone around me. How are they feeling? What did they need? What could I do to be useful and make them feel better? When I started taking care of myself for the first time in years, I realized there was a chance that I wasn't in the best health. Plus, I was 50, and things need checking when you're 50. So, I set up a bunch of appointments, like my first skin cancer screening, my first colonoscopy, and the first pelvic exam I'd had in 7 years. And what do you know? Tumors. Now, I'm not telling you you've got a tumor. I'm saying that if you aren't taking care of yourself, and part of that is getting things checked out, you could really be messing up. And you'll feel better when you know you've got shit handled. And it's not just checking for lumps. Think about how you feel today. Like, if you look at your life right now, are you doing okay? Could you be doing better? Pretend someone you love has your problems, whatever they are, and asks you what they should do. I bet you'd give them good advice. You might tell someone to get more sleep, eat more protein, drink less alcohol, take a walk every once in a while, dance like a dork in their living room. Try to catch when their inner voice puts them down so they can stop it and say something nice about themselves. Now, pretend that person you love is you. Take your own advice. Take care of you. Remember in our first episode this year, I talked about how you put your own oxygen mask on before helping someone else? That's what this is. Caring about yourself at least as much as you care about other people. Now, take a couple slow, deep breaths. You've got this.
Even though he's, a team lead, it's not like he has any actual power over you, right? Like if he...
Oh, no.
Okay, good.
If I want, if he pissed me off, I could be like, you know what, you're a fucking prick. And there's that shit he could do.
Yeah. Oh my God.
He would just go and, tell somebody, and it's like, did you call so-and-so a fucking prick? And I'd be like, yeah, I did. And it's like, oh.
Oh, you mean that fucking prick over there? Yeah, I totally called him a fucking prick.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah, I guess you shouldn't do that. What can they do?
Oh my God, I'm suddenly remembering.
No, he ain't shit.
Yeah. I am suddenly remembering one time, this was such a long time ago. We had this clerk working in this was like, God, this is before I met my husband. This was a really long time ago at work. This girl was like, she only understood her job. And she didn't, but like, I would have to request something from a clerk. Like, while I'm working, I'm going to suspend this work while a clerk goes and checks something and then comes back with the information. Like that kind of a thing. And I fill out the little slip and the clerk comes, and it was the kind of thing where it was a new department. It was a new system. Rules were changing because we were trying to figure out the best way to do stuff because it was still very early in that department and the way we did stuff. So one day I filled out the slip the way I would have filled it out yesterday afternoon, and apparently that morning someone made a decision. Well, when you fill it out, you have to fill it out like this. But that information had not gone out to us. So basically, she picks up my slip. I'm continuing to type, and she won't go away. And she's like, "Well, you're supposed to do this. I need the batch number. I need the blah blah blah. I need the block number." And I was just like, "Give me a second," because the thing is, the way that system worked, I would suspend the block I'm working on, and then the next one comes up, and I have to finish it. It's like, I'm not going to suspend this one too. I can finish this one. So I'm working. I'm like literally actively typing, working. And she just keeps going, "I need the block number. I need the block number. You're supposed to give me the block number." And I was like, "Will you just wait a minute?" And she storms off. And I find out like the next day that she not only complained about me, but she went to like the department head. She went like several layers of management up, not knowing that I've worked here for a while and these people all like me, and you're new and shut up. So basically, she goes over my head. It trickles back down to my manager, and who calls me up to her desk. And this was one of my favorite exchanges that ever happened at work ever. "Sheila says you were rude." Who the hell is Sheila? And she goes, "That clerk who wears too much blush." And I said, "Oh, her." And I was like, "Well, let me tell you what she did." And I tell my manager the whole story. And she was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I figured it was something like that." And I said, "Am I in trouble?" She goes, "Oh, of course not. I just, I have to tell you that there was a complaint."
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, well, fine. I guess I'll go back to work then." And it was just like, what? And I loved it. That was when I knew, I knew I liked that manager, but I knew that I loved her when her response to "who the hell is Sheila" is "the clerk who wears too much blush."
That's fabulous.
It's like, oh, that bitch. It's like, oh my God.
Well, there's been a couple times where I've been talked to by management for being nasty to people that I didn't like at work.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know how many times I actually got in trouble for it? Never.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I never got in trouble.
It was just like, oh, okay, you just have to know. Yeah, exactly. And I've never gotten in trouble for it because I'm sorry. If it's your peer, and it's private, you can be like, you're a stupid fucking cunt.
And I don't start shit. I just react to shit.
As long as it's private, there ain't nothing they can do about it. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's never, I go over to someone else's desk and go, "You were supposed to do this. You should stop everything you're doing and give it to me now." Like, I'm not the cunt walking over and bothering somebody.
Yeah, and I'm just like, yeah.
I am responding to the cunt who comes to my desk.
And there is no rule that says that you can't tell a coworker that they're an asshole as long as it's not in front of like a customer or something.
Exactly.
Why not?
Exactly. And it's not like I was yelling at her. She was the one who was making a little snit. I was just like, will you just wait a second? Like, I'm getting you the information, but I can't, it's not like I have it memorized. I literally had to stop what I was doing, pull up the suspended batch, open the suspended batch, retrieve the information, and write it down for her. That's going to take me at least a good minute. And it's like, okay, even if I stopped at that second she walked up, she was being fucking impatient. And I was like, I'm going to finish what I'm doing, and I will do that next. It's like, no. I'm on a fucking clock. I'm on a documents per hour production line here. You can fucking wait 2 seconds while I finish what I'm doing. Oh my God.
Yeah, and do you remember the time, and I will not go into details other than just me being a total bitch to this bitch. And, of course, I won, which I always do.
Because you're right.
Because I'm never a bitch without reason.
Exactly.
But do you remember when I was working at the assisted living home,
Mm-hmm.
and one of the home health nurses did something totally inappropriate and accused me of something that I didn't do because she didn't read the records correctly?
Oh, yes.
And the aftermath was me telling her, like, this was brought to my attention and blah, 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 blah. And this is not what happened. If you would have read the dates,
right,
you were a month off.
Right. Yeah.
So what the fuck are you talking about, trying to get me in trouble over this shit?
Yeah.
And she got in my face. And I literally told her to fuck off. And then she was in my face, well, if there's a problem, I have a responsibility to report the problem if it's going to be against a patient. And I was like, yes, you absolutely do, with research.
If there was actually a problem.
But there was no research, and you were a month off, and you accused me of something.
Yeah.
So you can go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And then the aftermath of this, she went to go to tell the manager of the home health department.
Right.
Or the home health agency, who I'd been friends with for 10 years.
Right. Because you'd been doing this a long time. Yeah.
Who called me and got the whole story. And long story short, this nurse stopped working for them.
Oh my God.
So the short of the matter is, don't fuck with me.
Uh-huh.
And don't fuck with you.
Mm-mm.
Because we're going to be bitches, but we ain't going to be bitches without a reason. And don't fuck with me, because you will get your ass fired.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, yeah. And the thing is, I mean, and we've talked about this sort of in general, but I put up with a lot. If I actually respond angrily, if you can tell that I'm mad, you really fucked up.
Yeah.
Because I let lots of shit slide until you do something that okay, now it stops. Now you're fucking toast because you are fucking out of here. I mean, it's like, I don't do anything without a reason.
I got a fucking RN fired from a home health agency. Hello.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Well, because the manager I'd been friends with for 10 years.
Yeah.
The doctor that was the doctor of that home health agency, I'm not going to say I've been friends with him.
But you'd known him.
But I knew him for that long, and we had a very respectful relationship.
Yeah.
So this bitch was toast.
Oh my God.
Know.
Oh yeah, it's like,
And
you messed with the wrong queen at this. Yeah. No, you're going down.
Because what she had accused me of, I could have been criminally prosecuted for.
Right. Because it was like a medication, like you over-medicated, or that was something like that.
It was a narcotic medication issue.
Right.
And she had looked at something and was like, well, this wouldn't have been, it happened with this patient if Pitney had not administered this narcotic the night before.
And she's not even looking in the right month.
It was in the log. It was a month before the date.
Right. That's a big, big difference.
And, I was pissed. And no, I got that bitch fired.
Yeah, because if she's careless enough to not notice what day she's looking at on a log when she's accusing you of something, she's gonna fuck up. She could have killed someone because she's so careless.
Everybody makes mistakes. I've made a mistake. Everybody makes mistakes.
Right.
But not to go to your superior and accuse somebody of something that serious.
Without checking. Yeah.
And then she wouldn't, when I confronted her on it.
Yeah.
She wouldn't fucking back down. So I was just like, you can go fuck yourself.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
And then she tried to get me in trouble, and her trying to get me in trouble, that bitch got fired. So yeah, don't fuck with me, Justin.
Now there's about 20 of them out there.
What will we do?
Don't worry, we're safe in here. They'll never get in.
Why is it that in every zombie story, people always think that their safe haven is invulnerable?
I know. It's like, hello, the walkers are totally gonna get in. You better get ready for it.
No! Diane, get behind me. No, it's not stopping.
Do something, Jack! And another thing, how come nobody in a zombie story has ever seen a zombie story?
Do you know how much time in human life would be saved if just one person in the group was up on the genre?
What do we do?
Aim for the head.
What?
Aim for the head.
You heard them. Aim for the head.
Quick, Diane, I think we should try and fix the barricades.
I think we should listen to them.
Now, that's the first good idea they've had all episode.
I still don't think they're gonna make it.
Aim for the Head, a weekly podcast covering the hit AMC programs The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead. Join hosts Diana and Steve as they recap and discuss the latest episodes. Aim for the Head, available on iTunes. You can also follow them on Facebook.
Really weird, and this is something I have discussed with my therapist, because it's been we don't talk about being in therapy and stuff in every episode, but we are very pro mental health and everyone should be in therapy because it's really good for you. But one thing that I've really figured out, and my therapist finds this fascinating, is that if I'm at work, I will cut a bitch. I will absolutely totally stand up for myself, totally not get shit on, because it's I have a level of self-respect when I'm at work that there's if it's in my personal life, I don't necessarily have that all the time. I'm way more likely to just be very, very quiet and let things go in my personal life.
Oh, I'm the same way. Yeah. Yeah.
I think it has
totally
to do with it's very important to me, at least. And maybe it's being a woman, maybe it's being the Jugsy blonde in the office who, maybe dresses slightly inappropriately or whatever. I have to work a little harder to get respect, because I've always had that kind of problem. People, their automatic assumption is, if they have no idea who I am, is that, well, she's obviously dumb. And it's oh, you're gonna find out real quick how not dumb I am. But if it's with, my family, I mean, I'm getting better, but, a lot of my problems really stem from a lifetime of not speaking up for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I do finally speak up for myself, I get looked at what's her problem? They have no idea what to do when I stand up for myself.
And it's a scary thing because it's as I well know, as you well know, that I know, it's hard. And I remember after a lifetime of not standing up for myself, my standing up to my father.
Oh my God.
After sexual abuse and being beaten up.
Absolutely.
Was to hold a steak knife and threatening to kill him if he ever fucking touched me again.
And that was like the best thing you could have ever done. Oh my God.
Because it is really, really and I'm not condoning doing that.
Oh, but it was exactly what had to happen. He needed it to be that strong.
And it scares me because I did hate him enough where if he had threatened me at that moment of time, I would have fucking killed him.
I agree. I think you would.
And I'd been in jail.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not condoning that, but I understand what you're saying because we get to a point where we're so scared to stand up that it's like a pressure pot and then it explodes.
Yes. And that's why I identify so strongly with the Hulk. Because I am Bruce Banner. I am Bruce Banner every day of my fucking life.
Yep.
And it's like most people to look at me, you wouldn't think, wow, she's got rage issues. But oh my God, I will fucking murder someone someday.
I know, but we're the same. We grew up the same. We have the same issue. I totally know. Yeah. I totally get it. I mean, you didn't have the mental issues that I have, but yeah. But as far as
but we all have our own special family members. Oh my God. But you standing up to your father, I really think that even though, I mean, he was horrible. But I think in the long run, you compared to your siblings, he had 1,000,000 times more respect for you than he had to them because they wouldn't fucking dare.
Oh, hell yeah. Because I always...
Like, you were a fucking man compared to your siblings, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because you basically approached him on his level because he was so awful that you would have to hold a knife to his throat to get him his attention.
And then I remember after that, when my coming out to him was him being an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And me telling him, yeah, I'm your fucking faggot son. And I am really fucking sick of you treating me like that's all I am.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Oh, man.
Yeah. So every breakthrough that I had with him was me being a total fucking dick to him.
Oh, my God.
Because I'd reached a break. Oh, yeah, no, in fact, I said that. I remember my friend Christine Ramirez. God, I wish I could get in touch with her again. So if you listen to this, call me. This girl that I was friends with in Santa Cruz, we had come down for the day and had come to visit my mom.
Yeah.
And of course, the asshole was home, so we had to visit him too.
Right.
And of course, we had gotten into some fight, and I don't know, he was pissed off about, I don't know, my clothes or my hair. I was probably wearing eyeliner.
He probably already drank a whole jug of Gallo wine or whatever.
Yeah. And he was pissed off that I was wearing eyeliner or something, and he had said something, and and we had gotten into it, and we're yelling at each other, and I was like, I know that I am nothing but your fucking faggot son. And I am so sick of being that's all I am to you. And it was like I slapped him across the face because everything that he had thought, I all of a sudden brought into reality.
Right.
By saying that. But you know what? He respected me after that.
Like he couldn't use it as an insult to you anymore because you just told him. Yeah. Now, was that before or after the knife incident?
Oh, that was several years after the knife incident.
Okay, because I was trying to think, remembering ages and stuff. I figured it was...
I pulled the knife on him when I was 17, and then he threw me out a couple months later.
Okay.
Which, hello, of course. I mean, yeah. Right.
It's not, you don't let the guy who just threatened to murder you live in your house.
But he... basically was because he would make fun of me for being gay.
Right.
He was like, oh, you're always walking around this house like a goddamn skirt.
Oh, classy.
Yeah, he couldn't say fag or gay, but no, I was a goddamn skirt.
Oh, God. Oh, he was so awful. Oh,
I was 17. So, no, this happened. I was living in Santa Cruz. So I was 22. It's probably 5 years after.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But then after that, we didn't talk for a long time. And then I moved to Texas, remember?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, remember, he started sending me birthday cards.
Yes, that was crazy.
He would send me these exorbitant checks, remember? And I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, he was trying to get back on your good side in this really weird, distant way. It was like, sure, I'll take money.
And then it was so funny. And then I remember, years later, when he was, going through his process of dying.
Yeah.
When my brother and sister had called him, it's like my sister had called me just laughing and laughing and laughing. I'm like, wait, what's going on? I'm just like, you're not going to believe what Dad said. And I'm like, what?
Oh, God.
And he was like, so I'll just use a fake name. Although I think I've used the real name, but it was so long ago, I'll use a fake name now.
Okay.
For my sister.
Oh, I don't know if you ever used her name. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, so she was like, Dad told me, he was like, Becky, you better not be mean to Pitney because he's a homosexual. And he's had a hard life, and you better not be mean to him for being a homosexual.
Wow! I've never heard this story. Oh my God.
And, my sister Becky was like, Dad, it's fine. Oh, I know. It's fine.
Right.
Do not worry about that at all.
Well, that wouldn't be the reason she'd be awful to you.
But he was, trying to defend me, thinking that my sister was going to be mean to me.
I mean, it's not like she's wonderful. I mean, she's still a bitch, but that's not the point.
But isn't that a hoot? It's like, Pitney is a homosexual.
Oh, Pitney. You're such a homosexual.
But then I
That's
remember,
almost cute. That's almost cute.
The last year or two of my dad's life, he would always ask me, he was like, so, how is your partner, blah, 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 doing?
Yeah.
Are you guys doing okay? And I'd be like, Dad, we've been broken up for 10 years.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
And then 3 weeks later, I would talk to him and he'd ask the same question.
He wasn't all there for a while there.
And I just took it as the acceptance that he was reaching out for.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
And then I was just like, oh, he's fine. Thank you so much for asking. He's doing great. And we're doing great.
Yeah.
Because I told him 3 or 4 times, Dad, we've been broken up for 10 years.
But he doesn't remember. Yeah.
But he kept asking, so I was just like, oh, we're doing great.
Yeah,
Thank you. We made dinner and blah, you
yeah.
know.
And well, it's like talking to an Alzheimer's patient and they call you their childhood next door neighbor's name and you just go with it. That's who they think you are. You might as well just be them for a while. Yeah, it's no big deal.
Interesting that it was it went from me pulling a knife on him, getting kicked out of the house,
to
him asking me about my partner.
But by then, though, I mean, it was very obvious. I mean, you guys. I mean, definitely, you always had a strange relationship. But by that time, it was very obvious that you were the only one who cared enough to make sure that he wasn't, because he was as he was becoming a feeble old man who couldn't take care of himself. I mean, he could have been just left to die alone in an apartment and the neighbors smell something later. That could have very easily happened, but you were the only one who had enough class to make sure that
and that would have broken my heart, because
as awful as he was, he's still a human and he's still your dad. Yeah.
He's still my dad, and I still, I loved him and I love him now,
It's complicated. These things are complicated.
I still often will only refer to him as the asshole.
Well, yes. Well, because that's what your mother calls him.
But I still do love him.
Yeah. Well, it's like when they can't hurt you anymore. It's like, when you're far enough away from it that they can't hurt you, and it's like you can see them as, oh, well, he's just a mess. And yeah, he was terrible and he did all these terrible things and it's not forgiven, but at the same time it's like, oh God, he's fucked up. He's a sad old man,
Yeah, but I remember about a month before he died. No, a couple months before he died. When we were getting off the phone, I remember, it's like, oh, bye. And he was like, I love you.
Oh, my God.
He had not told me that since I was like probably 11 years old.
Right. Totally. Oh, wow.
And, it just...
Oh, God.
And it's like, it's real. And for him, it's funny because I'd forgiven him for all the things he did to me at that point.
Right.
And the interesting thing about talking about, therapy and therapeutic process and everything. Mm-hmm. The interesting thing about that is that was my personal point where I had forgiven him for things he had done to me.
Right.
And I realized all of like the anger and the hatred that I had still felt towards him after that point and after his death was things that he had done to my cousin.
Right, it wasn't about you anymore. Right.
Things that he had done to that girl that we had the beach house with,
family, friends,
molestation,
that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Molestation, suing, screwing over, all those horrible things that he did.
Like anything anyone could imagine, yep, he did it. He was horrible.
But then I realized recently, literally within the last month.
Oh, wow.
I realized, you know what? It is not my place to be angry and hateful and upset about things that he did to other people.
Yeah, that's their thing. Yeah.
I was so angry and I was holding that burden to forgive him for what he did to other people.
Right.
When I had already forgiven him what he had done to me.
Right. It's not even your place to forgive him about things that had nothing to do with you.
And then I was like, I can think this is terrible what he did, but for me to have this level of hatred and guilt and unresolved anger about what he did to other people, I was like, wow, yeah, no, you know what? Not my problem.
It's not your problem. It's not your place.
I can be outraged by it and know it's disgusting and horrible, but I don't need to feel guilty because I forgave him what he did to me, but feel guilty because he did the same thing to someone else.
Right. But there's nothing, none of that is on you because it has nothing to do with you. Yeah.
And that was a big turning point for me. Then that was in the last month.
That's amazing.
And I was like, wow, yeah, this ain't my responsibility. It's just like, I'm friends with people that you have a strong dislike for.
Yep.
But you don't judge me for that. No. And you're friends with people that I have a strong dislike for.
Right.
And I don't judge you because it's like it's a separate issue.
Right. Yeah.
So why am I holding this guilt for stuff that my dad did when I did nothing that I was too little to even understand?
Exactly.
And it's holding my spiritual growth back. It's holding my emotional health back. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Really interesting.
Oh, yeah. Well, shit, it's like all the shit that went down a year ago with, I'll just call him dipshit, because that's generally the name I give him whenever I talk about him. It's like I can get angry, get angry at him, like about certain specific things, like if I let myself zero in on a specific incident. But in general, I don't have any anger. I don't really have, I mean, the only feeling in general that I really have is it sucks. It sucks that it happened. It
Yeah.
sucks that he is so fucked up that he couldn't even be friends with me. You know,
Yeah.
he had everything in me as a friend and he fucked it up. And and I'm sure he's miserable. And I hope he's not. I hope he's doing well.
Yeah.
But really, you know, all it is that it sucks. I can't be angry at him because I know enough about his condition. You know, I know enough about what he's got that it's like he probably only treats people that way that he has strong feelings for, because everyone else doesn't matter.
Oh, of course.
Like, I bring out shit in him because he doesn't understand emotion, because he's so fucked up that as soon as he starts to feel something strongly, he freaks out, and that's why he treated me bad. And I think that's why we went for like a dozen or more years with everything just being fine. And then when we started spending more time together and we got close, and then all of a sudden something happened and he could not be around me anymore. And it's like, and it sucks, but you know, what am I going to do? I'm not his mom. It's not my job to make sure he's okay anymore.
No.
And I was overdoing it. I mean, I totally accept my side of it. That I was overdoing the taking care of him. But it's like, you know, someone that you're close to, that you love, is suffering and they're depressed, and it's like, if there's something I can do, I want to do it, you know.
Yeah.
But heaven forbid I tell him to have a happy new year. And now I'm the asshole.
God, yeah,
I mean, how can I really be mad about that? Because it's so fucking stupid.
You know, and it's interesting because, you know, I was talking, you know, the other week to Murray. I always love saying that.
I always enjoy it too.
Because the podcast listeners know it's a character, but anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. It doesn't work if you don't say it that way, because that's her name. Murray.
I was talking the other week to Murray. And, you know, we were talking about, you know, we talk a lot about, you know, past grievances and psychological issues because, you know, she is who she is. And so we talk about that a lot.
Yes. And it is something that someday we will go into on the show, because it is fascinating. And I think people who listen would be like, wow.
Yeah, but I realized that, you know, the interesting thing about, you know, because we've kind of been vaguely talking about, like, therapeutic process and getting over stuff and whatever. You know, back at the incidents that happened a few years ago with the pagan order that I belonged to, and, you know, so going, you know, back to that whole, like, scandal thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It was interesting because I've gotten to the point where I have forgiven the person that did this, and I mourn our friendship.
Yeah.
And I miss her, and I do. I miss her, and I even sometimes,
because the good parts were great. And that's the
and I even sometimes I dream about her. But it's interesting. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because it resonated with something that you just said. Is that if I think about the instances of what happened, I get so angry and so enraged still.
Me too.
And I have all this anger still if I think about the specifics of it, but I have to, like, tell myself and train my mind and my heart. It's like, you know what, you've forgiven this. It's still going to make you angry if you dwell on it, but don't fucking dwell on it.
Right.
It's the past.
Right.
It's fucking gone. But that's the interesting thing about the human condition and like trying to live like a spiritual, like forgiving life.
Right.
Because you can be aware that you've forgiven and you can think about the person.
And you say, and now I see them as a person with flaws, and
you can think about the person and remember the good times and think of how much you loved them and remember. But then if you think about the instances and you get all angry,
because you go back there
for that person again.
Yeah, you're going back to that moment, and you don't need to go back there. It's done.
But isn't it an interesting thing? Yeah. That once you've forgiven, that split happens.
Yeah.
But if you do think about the grievances, and that's the people, and I think that's the thing that people have trouble with forgiveness, is it's like, no, you're not forgetting it. You're not forgetting the anger. You're not forgetting the pain.
And you're not giving them permission. You're not giving someone permission to keep abusing you.
Yeah.
Because it's like, no. It's over. All of that is over. I'm just letting it go.
But somehow, when you forgive, there is like, it's almost like a cord has been cut.
Yep.
And it's like, here, I'm holding an arm out straight for people that can't see me. Mm-hmm. And then I'm holding another arm out at an angle, right? So the straight arm is the person, and the angled arm is the bad memories that you've cut off.
Yeah.
And when you think about it, it brings back the pain and everything. And it brings back like these temporary like things connecting the two.
Right.
But you know that they're temporary.
Right.
Whereas before you forgave, the two arms were fused.
Right, because they were completely tied together.
Yeah, so it doesn't go away.
Right.
The anger doesn't go away. The pain doesn't go away. But somehow
the connections are broken.
The association differs. And it's a real interesting thing about forgiveness.
And the main thing about it that I have really, really, really thought about a lot in recent months is I'm the one dredging up the shit that makes me angry. It's gone. Mm-hmm. You know, some of these things happened over 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I can get myself really, really upset really fast, but I'm doing that. He's not continuing to make me mad. I'm making me mad.
Yeah, I was going to say, I bet he doesn't give a shit anymore. And, my thing that precipitated my moving here, the two people involved in that, they don't give a fuck anymore.
Right.
Why do I?
And even if my guy, even if he remembers back on it, I don't know if he remembers back how horrible he thought I was and that's why he treated me so bad, or if he goes back and goes, oh shit, I really fucked that up. Either way, I'm still not speaking to him anymore. It's like, it's over. All of that is over, and you can go back to analyze and figure out things, but once you've done that, you're the one letting it go. And that's one of the things I want to talk about just real quick, because we're probably about to wrap this up. Because people have weird ideas about forgiveness. You shouldn't forgive him. He's terrible. I'm forgiving him for me. He doesn't even know I've forgiven him.
Exactly.
He doesn't. I'm not calling him up and saying, you know what, I forgive you. No, fuck that. I'm not talking to him. I'm doing it for me. And the other thing is closure. Closure is not a real thing. Yeah. You don't get closure from someone else. You get closure from you. Because you stop hurting yourself with the thing that happened. Stop hurting yourself. If you feel like you can't right now, that's fine. Maybe you're not ready, but someday you will let that shit go. Because it's not hurting you anymore.
Yes.
It's over. You're doing
Because
it.
closure is just what I was talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Is being able to see the person and remembering the good
Mhm.
and missing them and realizing that it was over for a reason.
Right.
And if you think about things, it'll still make you mad.
Right.
But there's not this, there's a different feeling.
Right.
In that anger than in a non-forgiving anger. Like a non-forgiving anger is different from a forgiving anger.
Sure.
Even though it's still there, it's different. You understand what
No,
I'm
I
saying.
get it. And you yourself have 100% control over it.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, it's all just happening in your head. You really do have control. And it's like you were saying, remembering the good times and stuff. If I have to, it's easy for someone who wasn't there, for someone who just heard me bitching about him, to go, well, he was an asshole from the beginning. It's like, nobody wasn't, though. And if I have to give him up
of course
completely,
not, because if he was, you wouldn't have cultivated a friendship.
It wouldn't have been 15 years, or however long it was.
Exactly.
But like, I can't let all of him go, because that means all that really good shit. And I can't even go into how, he was amazing. Having him around did me a hell of a lot of good. He and I were really good for each other until the day we just weren't anymore. And whatever happened, we like diverged and went two different directions, and we were never going to go back. No matter what, even if we decided, you know what, I'm never going to be like that anymore. We can't go back to where we were. We can't, because I'm not that person anymore. I have seen too much and been through too much. And I know too much. I am not the person I was in 2018. So, like, everything that happened before that, like, literally, there was a night, without going into details, there was a night that when I think back and I try to do, like, a forensic analysis on every conversation we ever had, I know exactly what night something happened. And that's when things started to split.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. And I know what you're talking about.
There was this thing where not long before that, I'll just say, and I don't know why these two things happened on the same night. Whatever happened that made things go bad happened on that night. But right before that, I have a very distinct memory of going, he is really happy right now. Like, I'd known him for a dozen or more years. And, like when the best example I can give is my parents' 25th anniversary. My father leaned over and kissed my mother on the cheek. And at that moment, I realized I had never seen my father kiss my mother. How
sweet. Oh my goodness.
And the thing was that it never occurred to me before that moment, because you have to see it before you realize you'd never seen it before. Like, I probably thought I'd seen him happy all the time, but because I didn't even realize that his body language was so stiff until I suddenly saw him relax. His entire body unclenched, and his body language was different, and his whole attitude was different. And he actually commented on, because we were at a restaurant and it was kind of becoming our place, and a waiter walked by with food on a tray, and he said, see that? That's what I'm going to order the next time we come here. And I know this sounds weird, but that is not something he would ever say. Mm-hmm. That is far too being optimistic about a future event. And that's not in his personality, and I realize that sounds really fucking weird.
And was that the final night?
That was the last time we went out together, and at the end of that night,
I know where I know exactly where and when. Yeah, I remember.
I was sitting there thinking, oh my God, he is genuinely happy, because things in his life were starting to go his way, and I took him out to celebrate something good that happened for him, and we were having the best time. And somehow between that moment and the end of the evening, like by the time we walked out of that place, he was miserable. And I do not know what happened.
Because people get scared.
Yeah. And it could have been, I'm feeling happy, and obviously he wasn't used to feeling happy because I'd never seen him happy before, and maybe he freaked out. But I will never know that because I will not talk to him again. But it's one of those things where, like, everything up until that moment with him was great. He was one of my favorite people, and I cannot explain what happened. All I know is it happened, and he started treating me like shit and being crueler to me than almost anyone ever has. And then I just...
But, being wounded...
Yeah.
Does horrible things, and not forgiving does horrible things, because I'm thinking back to...
I'm so much happier now that I don't care.
Yeah. The incident, that happened in San Antonio with the person that I was talking about that I had forgiven now.
Right.
Before that, I was so hurt. I said cruel, horrible things.
Yeah.
And I meant them.
Oh, yeah.
In my anger. And I regret it now because I just should have let it go.
Right.
But I was so hurt and so angry, but I should have let it go.
But you weren't ready. It was too fresh. You were still bleeding. You were basically still bleeding from where she stabbed you at that time.
Yeah.
You couldn't let it go yet.
It's just an interesting, about... I didn't think this was going to turn into, like, a treatise on forgiveness.
No!
But it's interesting, and I didn't even realize until this conversation that I actually had something valid and useful to give on forgiveness.
Yeah.
But apparently I do, because I didn't even realize until this conversation that I finally got it and understood it.
Well, sometimes it's saying things out loud. Sometimes it's actually saying it out loud that makes you realize, like, oh, I'm putting words to it.
Yeah, I didn't even realize. Yeah. And it was like, because me and Marie were talking about, the San Antonio incident.
Yes.
The other night. And of course, Marie does not forgive anything ever because she lives for grudges.
True, but she was not friends with that person. She didn't have a real relationship with her.
But she lives for grudges.
Oh, sure.
And she was like, hey, blah, 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 and you can't forget, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you know what?
But she has grudges against people who never did anything because she imagines shit.
Yeah, but I was like, but no, I still remember that, but I remember this, and this, and how beautiful our friendship was, and how, you know what I mean? And it's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
So, of course, in closing of this, I will just say, I may be awful, but I'm right. Go my way, because I'm right.
Oh, yeah.
And don't go the way of Marie, because she's not right.
Oh, right. Righteous anger is a very good thing. But eventually, you gotta let shit go.
Yeah, but not getting the fuck over it, it's just gonna eat you.
And it's your fault. By the time it's just you regurgitating your own anger, it's your fucking fault.
I let shit eat me for years, and all of a sudden I realized that, oh, this isn't happening anymore.
Right. You are literally going back and drinking the poison again, and it's like, you could have walked away from the poison. Yeah.
It's a good thing,
And I'm so much... Like, I didn't even realize how miserable I was even before that. Like, there was shit I wasn't dealing with before because I was so busy being happy. But I really wasn't happy because I was just ignoring all the things that were fucked up. Once I was able to get away from that, it was like, oh my God, I can actually take care of my shit now. And you can't do that if you're regurgitating your own bile all the time.
No, you cannot.
Let shit go.
And it's always still going to be there, but it's different.
But in the case of the bitch from my office who was all obsessed with the rubber chicken, fuck her, because she's not important.
Fuck her.
And I'm not mad. I have no reason to be mad at that because it's fucking hilarious. That's a good kind of angry.
And in closing, I would say, fuck you, Justin.
And fuck you, Jenny, who's not really Jenny. Jenny!
Thanks for listening. If you enjoy our show, please take a moment to rate us and review us on Apple Podcasts or Stitcher.
If you send us a screenshot of your review, we'll send you a Bitchin' Boutique sticker. Everyone loves stickers!
Please subscribe or add us to your favorites wherever you get your podcasts.
Subscribers get new episodes first and are also more attractive.
Drop us a line anytime at PitneyAndAmelia@gmail.com.
We'd love to hear from you.
I hear you have the chicken.